Well. Special good evening to everybody. Good evening, my friends. Good evening. How was your day, folks? How was your day? Is everything okay? Yes, please share the live as you join the platform. Welcome. Trouble in the world. So much trouble in the world. Yes, please share as you join. Greetings to all. Randy, Mark, welcome. Andrea, you left me to be slaughtered today, Andrea. Hi, Jean-Baptiste. But Martina, May, how are you? Welcome, folks, to the platform. Welcome. Please share the live as you join. Mary, how are you, Mary? Marcel, my friend from Denray. and to all those who are following us, and my friend Plummer from West Hartford, Connecticut, right here in the United States. Greetings to you, friends. Greetings. Please share the live. You know, surprisingly, a lot of folks wanted us dead, wanted us not on the air. I didn't realize that until today. It's very funny that I am still naive with all what is happening. Hi, Marie, my friend. Greetings. Yeah, I am shocked. You know, a lot of people are praying and hoping for us to be off the air. And I don't know. I need to get to the reality that, you know, people are just who they are. Very funny. A lot of people hoping and praying. Hi, Alexander. How are you? Christine Alexander, welcome. Frances, welcome. Edith, welcome, my friend. Yes, Martin Francis, my manager, is here. Andrea, your daughter. Your daughter told you, Andrea? Yeah, it was a bloodbath for me today by my friend. Bibiana Wilson, welcome. Welcome, everybody. Please share as you join the platform. And if you have not followed our new page at Caribbean American Media, please do so now. We're about to take off in grand style. And for those of you who have subscribed to our YouTube channel, thank you for your subscription. It means a lot to the platform. Yes, good night, everybody. Good night, Alexander. Yes, Math 3. Yes, Dawn. How are you, Dawn? How is everybody? There's a Wilson who is saying regards to my sister, Miss Plummer, who is glued to the Facebook platform. Miss Plummer, you have a sister on YouTube who is putting your business out, and she's saying that you're glued to our Facebook channel. To our Facebook channel, again, we want to greet everybody. Everybody, welcome. Please share. I know it's the news time. I'm not sure if there are any other bloggers on, but we are on. That's all I'm concerned about. We are on, and we are here firing on all cylinders. I can see all my signals up and running, both on our motherboard and our main systems. Everything seems to be, by the grace of God, flowing beautifully, and so we give God the thanks. Joycelyn, Overcomer, good night, my friend. Yes, it. Yes, we're going to stay out of the negative, my friend. Joycelyn, thank you so much. Overcomer, you are an overcomer. We all are overcomers. Amen. Yes, Dawn is very busy, but all is well. Yes, we're going to stay as positive as we can. And at the same time, we are going to debunk, we're going to expose lies and also deceit on the platform. So please share. But greetings, folks. Now, last night we had a very interesting show. We spoke about some matters concerning my friend, Mr. Jules, and also Mr. Anson. What I realize is that now, you see, Brother Anson have been warning me for a very long time, and has been saying to me, you got to be tough, you got to do this, you got to do that. And when I start getting tough and I start doing this and do that, he got personal today with me. Very personal. I could not believe that was him. And that's the truth. I was very shocked that we are dealing with issues. We have not touched on character or anything else. And for some reason, the brother decided to just go all in, it's like somebody who was waiting in the bush to come out. Very, very shocking. And I will tell you something about friendship. It is when the tough gets tough and the tough gets going, then you get to smoke out your real friends, those who are really there genuinely with you. And so the brother went rogue. He went a whoosh on me. That's what I call it. He went a whoosh on me. Let's make sure that our system is working here. Yes, let's make sure everything is working, brethren. Yes, make sure everything is working.
What's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? Mr. Speaker, I realized for a long time you want to be part of that. Since when that's your role?
Princess Charles, no way. I am not allowed you to waste our water here in New York. You're in Canada. We are not close to Niagara Falls, so, you know, we're not going to waste water tonight. But good to have you. Martin Jean-Baptiste, welcome. Who's using who? Yes. So I was telling you, I was saying to you that I smoked out someone last night who was supposed to be my friend. I had him on my platform. I went on his programs, you know, and boy, this guy went negative, so negative that he lied. He did a whole set of stuff at the same time about situation, and even my friend so came onto the live and she was like, you know, I'm leaving. I'm not staying here because you on another page, and she was actually right. You know, this guy just was like, and the same thing KKRI was warning him and say, look, man, you got to stop. You got to, you know, you got to leave that thing alone. But my friend, the guy, he was smoked out because it was very easy for this guy to just go crazy on me. It was very easy, simple. No big deal. It was like a walk in the park. And I sat there and I looked and I observed and I said, wow. The folks who were advising me on my side of the spectrum, they were right. They saw right through the situation and they said, no. And one night, accidentally, I stumbled into a live that he had with KKRR, and he was like, talking to me, oh, he's supposed to be this, and he did not donate to the GoFundMe, and he went on and on with about me, and up to now I have not said nothing about it, but I had an open live, a public live, where I called him out on his lies because the people of St. Lucia benefited from pay increase on the United Workers Party, and for him to say, no, that's not true, no, never, then you know something is wrong. But as I always say to you, that when you're discussing social issues and current event, you do not want to attack people's character. You want to draw a line, and you don't want to cross that line. You want to stick on the issues. You are safer there. All right? You are safer not crossing that thin line. Stay on the issues, because there are a number of issues that are impacting you in society. You have we have a number of women who got killed on the island. That is something for concern. 70-year-old being stabbed in her home. Another community woman found dead in her home. Another 2 found dead in their homes. And we are supposed to attack people's character and not deal head on with these issues in our society. And that's what I say to you. Remain on key, remain focused, and let us leave people's character out. People's character are defective. I'm going to say it again. People's character are defective. Human beings on a whole. The best of us can be the worst of us. All right? But when it comes to principle, integrity, honesty, oh yes, then we are to help to correct those in others and in ourselves. So we got to be cautious, but there are a number of women who lost their lives, and we got to keep those fire burning. We have Cecilia, who went from Florida into St. Lucia to bury her dad, and she got arrested, went to body lay, and end up dead in a morgue, and that is another case that is being looked at. We're still looking at it. We have a young lady in Grand River Dennery who called the police for help many times, and I mean the big guys said that they're investigating, and she's still holding on to hope that something is going to happen. So there's so much. We have minimum wage, livable wage. We have the road conditions. We have the hospital. We have the airport. We have a lack of circulation of finance in the country. We have malnutrition, malnutrition. You have undernutrition, I should say, in one sector of St. Lucia. The rich are not undernutrition, but we have majority of St. Lucians who are undernourished and not receiving the finance so that they can maintain a balanced meal. Those are the real issues out there in our society. We have speakers of the House and persons in power who are misusing their power. These are real issues in our society that we need to pay attention to, and we cannot close a blind eye on them. You have, even in the religious world, you have politicians who refuse to acknowledge God, refuse to pray, call day of prayer and fast. You don't hear anything about that anymore in your country. Gone are the days when you would have days of prayer by your your spiritual leaders, calling for help and stuff on behalf of the nation, especially as the nation is in crisis. No way, you don't hear it anymore. Lawlessness is on the increase. Religious leaders are asleep. Churches are behind their pulpits hiding. So, I mean, we got to stick, brethren, on these major issues. All right. So I want to thank all for coming in. Biro, my friend, on YouTube. My YouTube passe, they're always over there. BBDD, Delea, my friend Laurencia. Hey, Alfred, welcome to the platform. Let's get into business, folks. There we have. I have a number of stuff lined up here. But I have also an announcement from the United Workers' Party that we need to highlight. Let me see if I should do that now. Please bear with me. I am looking for dates. Yes, this one, we can do it now. So let's go over to our United Workers' Party update on their meetings. All right. Please bear with me. So here we go. The Micoud North constituency branch invites all members and supporters of the United Workers' Party to its branch meeting. And that is Saturday, February 11th from 6 p.m. For Adventists, it is after sunset. So that is 6 p.m. at the Micoud Secondary School. Come here, our political leader, as well as other members of our great party. Come here, the difference. Chairperson stands with our great leader. That's what I misspelled there. But the leader, Mr. Shasta, is going to be there at the Micoud Secondary School. That is February 11th at 6 p.m. All are invited. All right? So this is, again, an announcement from the Micoud North constituency branch, and they're inviting all members and supporters. Now, if you are a supporter, you can become a member. All right? So you need to talk to them on the 11th, which is Saturday at 6 p.m. If you're a Seventh-day Adventist, don't go there before sunset. All right? Don't say I didn't say anything to you. All right? Good. So that is it there, folks. Everybody need to go out. The last meeting I announced, it was well attended. And so I'm encouraging you to go out again and listen to the updates that are available to you, the members of the party. All right? Don't say I didn't tell you. Go out. Go out and hear what is being said. Okay? Now, we have an issue here, an earthquake that killed thousands of people. Thousands are missing. Let's go over to a report. Okay, my earpiece is off. Just bear with me. My earpiece is off. I'm not hearing. Okay, good.
Marcus Moore is live on the scene in Turkey. Good morning, Marcus.
Well, Robin, good morning. Right now, rescuers are at the site of an 8-story apartment building that collapsed during the quake. They have pushed us back as searchers sift through the debris, some of them with their bare hands and a bucket, moving bricks and concrete, searching for any signs of life. And right now, they are in the most critical hours as they search for survivors. First responders seen working to clear the rubble of this collapsed building when the one right next to it comes crashing down. This reporter covering the urgent search and rescue efforts live when people start frantically running for safety. As this building behind them collapses. Later, he spots a mother and her children and races to help them get to safety. This morning, a race against time in the city of Diyarbakir, where searchers pick through the rubble of a destroyed apartment building. You can see the team of rescuers on one of the upper floors there, what's left of this apartment building. They have their flashlights, some of them searching through the debris with their bare hands. They're looking for survivors under the threat of aftershocks. Survivors whose homes were destroyed, forced to spend the night at makeshift camps like this one in freezing temperatures. For those trapped in the rubble, the cold making the fight for survival that much harder. In Syria, the destruction just as devastating. These workers, known as the White Helmets, Syrian rescue group, digging through a mountain of debris to rescue a child. Grateful, she opens her eyes alive. Nearby, you can hear more cries for help, people trapped under the rubble. The capital of Aleppo, one of the worst hit areas. So many of the children here now orphans. The UN estimating 6.9 million people are internally displaced in Syria, the earthquake adding another layer of suffering to the war-torn country. This hospital, so overwhelmed with victims, a doctor making this plea.
We have information that hundreds of patients are still under the debris. The situation is too bad. We need urgent help.
Droves of volunteers crowd the Istanbul airport, eager to help. The Biden administration sending 2 search and rescue teams to Turkey. One 78-member team, highly skilled in search and rescue, based out of Los Angeles, heading to Turkey this morning to help search for survivors. And there are scenes like this playing out across this region. I can tell you the mood here in Diyarbakir is a somber one. Also, people are anxious, but at the same time, they are determined and hopeful. There are glimmers of hope as the death toll continues to rise. Just this morning, rescuers were able to pull a 29-year-old woman out of this apartment building and take her to the hospital, one of the many people who have been rescued amidst all of the destruction here. George.
Just one small blessing in this horror. Okay, Marcus, thanks very much. Hi, everyone.
Wow, folks, very sad indeed, and that is in Syria. We see there millions of people are affected, children. It is very sad, and that's why I say to you folks that the way we act sometimes is like, life, is something that is guaranteed, and we can just wake up every day and everything is well. But these are families tonight in the cold who are suffering. And as you heard, some of these children are, they just, they have lost their parents, and that's just the reality of life. Let us, brethren, be very cautious with life indeed. Anyway, just this week, Father Albert made some statements, and we're going to look at it. We're going to let's go over to Father Albert, and he's warning against witchcraft. Again, he's warning persons against the kingdom of darkness. Let's listen to him.
Father Albert Aaron Smith confronted his congregation and by extension St. Lucia concerning the use of powers outside of God to maintain power or get certain jobs. Quoting scripture from the second reading, Father Albert said that our proclamations of faith will carry the Spirit and His power when we rely on the power and wisdom of God.
Do we truly rely on the power and wisdom of God? Do we truly rely on the power and wisdom of God? Or do we open and submit ourselves to other powers in the world? Nous avons moun ka read tout vieux livre. They temple, they dabble with all kinds of books. They go online and they read all kinds of things and engage in all kinds of things. Ek la yo ka fou yo ka di menen bay poète la. So why read vieux livre ek se mon vle vinti de moun di dan?
Father Albert went on to proclaim that the ultimate power and wisdom is only found in God, and anyone seeking power outside of God is in trouble. The parish priest went on to admonish those who do not wait on God because they think He's taking too long.
So we find other powers in the world. Nou ka ache Louisian. Nou ka ko gade. Pou ban nou bagay. Nou ka ko gade pou ban nou bagay pou ta chante te nou se madame lan. Ek se misia bay pou ta chan boxer yo. That's what we do. Se gade a bon autant. Adan di yo mal pasan yen kini e ke pasa fouti jwen li mo loto a pou yo gen loto a.
Father Albert condemned those, especially in St. Lucia's corporate society, who speak ill or use witchcraft, voodoo, obeah, or other spiritual practices outside of God to maintain positions and to prevent others from climbing the corporate ladders. He says that individuals need to plan for their succession by training and bringing up others in society to eventually take their place.
Sometimes we don't give somebody a promotion because we don't like them. We don't like them. You know, sometimes, you have many managers and CEOs that are threatened by their subordinates. They are threatened by their subordinates.
Albert disclosed that he conducts corporate training for various companies in St. Lucia and is offended at the mindset of some managers and supervisors. He says that managers and supervisors tend to adopt the mindset that anyone below them looking for growth or development is a threat to their job and therefore will do anything within their power to ensure that the aspirants stay stagnant.
Now, Albert, Pastor Kapale Sakivwe, what he's saying is true. All right? And you can't get around it. You can't get away from it. What I can say is that the sad reality is that most persons who get themselves involved in these underground thing are persons who are part of these congregations, not people outside. Those are persons who are within some of them are hearing him. But I really want us to I played that in passing. But we have an issue at the hospital in Viewfort, and we got to keep the hospital in the news. We got to keep it in our social blogging. Those of us who are here for to make a difference, yes, we've got to. So let's go over to if I can find that report. Let's go over to earlier, sometime in December, I believe, or November, somewhere there, the Prime Minister announced that the work at St. Jude would have started, all right? I think they call it re-beginning, but let's go and see. Let's listen again.
Has kept his word to St. Lucia's southern residents and on September 19th announced construction on the original St. Jude Hospital construction site will resume in November. Prime Minister Pierre first indicated the timeline to resume construction on the St. Jude Hospital in March.
And I'm pleased to tell you that construction work on the original St. Jude's will commence in November this year. The first phase of the construction would be the fencing of the original site and exterior works. So the exterior works are going to commence fencing.
Okay, good. So, folks, let's just take this slowly. All right. Now, I heard that. I have not seen the clip. I heard the Prime Minister made a statement this week on HTS. If somebody has that clip, please send it to me right now. I am looking for it, and I cannot get my hands on it for some reason. The number is on the screen, 929-586-1821. If you have that clip, please let me know. I think it was from HTS somewhere there, where the Prime Minister made a statement on St. Jude. But let's move forward, right? So the Prime Minister announced that work will start in November, that's of 22, sorry. What am I saying? 22, that was last year. And work is going to start on the fence, and also work will start on the exterior of the building. All right? So we have work on the fence and work on the exterior of the St. Jude building. Now stick with me, folks. All right? Now, I received word sometime today that the fencing is not up as yet. I'm not sure how true that is. I need someone to confirm that for me on the ground. Tonight I am off my marbles. I don't have a lot of information on that hospital. So, work started in November, and it started on the fence and on the exterior. The pictures that we saw circulated on Facebook, what we saw was work being done on the mold problem. They were fighting mold. They were dealing with mold. We have an announcement from the government that work would, according to them, re-begin on the fencing and also on the exterior. All right, so stick with me. Watch this space. So, this is how we're going to keep our governments honest. This is how we're going to keep St. Jude in the spotlight. So, what we are going to be doing, we're going to ask our people to get to St. Jude and get pictures, both videos and pictures, of the new fencing at the airport, at the hospital. This is how we're going to keep our governments honest. Then we want pictures on the exterior. So from November to February, it means that is 4 months. It means that the fencing should have been completed and the exterior work would have been completed. Okay? So let's go back over to our Prime Minister, the Honorable Philip J. Pear. Talk to me.
Commence fencing and the exterior works are going to commence in November, and full construction of the remaining buildings will continue in the new year.
The ill-advised decision.
Sometimes, folks, we miss a lot of stuff, but as we go through them, as we go back and we review them, you start hearing things, you start seeing things, you start hearing things that you did not hear the first time. So in March, and I'm writing, full construction will begin. Save this video for future reference. We're documenting history. So the announcement was made in September that work would have started in November on the fencing and on the exterior of the building. In that same announcement, Mr. Pear indicated that full construction will start in March. And I believe March is when? Next month? So let's go back over to Mr. Pear.
The ill-advised decision to abandon the original St. Jude Hospital construction site, which was nearly...
Now, hold a minute. Now, when you see you promote some journalists into certain positions, then they feel they can say what they want. So, this brother, former journalist, is saying that there was some ill-advised. A government was ill-advised in whatever they were doing at St. Jude. So, let's hope that he can supply us that information with the ill-advised that was given to the then administration. But let's go forward. Listen
in
carefully.
2016 has to date cost St. Lucian taxpayers more than $115 million. Work on the original St. Jude Hospital construction site was halted in 2017.
Work was stopped on the hospital when, by our reports, the hospital was about 80% completed. Work was stopped and work did...
Now, hold a minute. So in 2018, bear with me folks, let's work this out together. In 2018, the hospital was 80% finished. Now I'm taking it slow tonight. In 2018, the hospital was 80% finished. Let me repeat that again. In 2018, the St. Jude Hospital, based on the Prime Minister of St. Lucia, the Honorable Philip J. Pear, was 80% finished. All right? So it means that if the hospital is 80% finished in 2017, then in 2023, it's a walk in the park. If it was 80% finished, it means that all you have to do, Mr. Prime Minister, is to clean the exterior, spray the inside, put up the fence, which you said would take approximately, all that would take 3 months or 4 months, and move the people into St. Jude. Now remember, you said when your administration got voted out that the hospital was 80% finished. Remember that. 80% finish. Let's go back again.
Work was stopped and work did not commence until 3 years later, and in the process 2 buildings were demolished in the process of so-called construction of a new hospital. Since that time, a building was constructed.
Now, let's make some corrections here. There was no so-called construction. There was the construction of a brand new building. Tonight we are called Truth Busters. Tonight we are called Truth Busters. So So in 2017 again, 80% finish. Prime Minister just said so-called construction. There is nothing called so-called construction. It's either you're doing construction or you're not doing construction. There is nothing called so-called. If you're mixing concrete and cement and you're putting up blocks, it is called construction. If you're putting up steel, it is called construction. If you're putting up plywood, it is called construction. So there is no so-called. Everything we do is to discredit something that is of importance, national importance, to the people of the country. So let us not play games with the lives of our people in Soufriere and surrounding areas by one, calling a brand new building a box, and two, by calling it so-called construction. Now, you go on the world media and make such a statement, the reporter themselves who are trained would want to know, what's so-called? What is so-called? They would Google it. They would try to figure out. They will call their boss at the main office. Boss, have you ever heard the term so-called construction? Because these are words professionally you don't use. Especially when millions of taxpayers' dollars are being spent. So let's go back and listen to the Honorable Prime Minister.
A hospital, a building was constructed at a cost over $100 million, and it was said that this building...
Hold. 100 million. Mr. Pear said in this earlier that a building was constructed, which means that there was no so-called construction. It means that you had construction going on. That's how you get a building up. You get a building up through construction, not so-called construction. I don't know if St. Lucia have some new industry where you have so-called construction and construction. I am not sure if you have permits for construction and permits for so-called construction. I mean, if somebody can enlighten us if there is something new going on in St. Lucia, if that's some new terminology or whatever it is in the construction field, somebody need to let us know. So you said that a building was erected at the cost of 100 million. You said that there was so-called construction. You said that the hospital, when your administration left, was 80% finished. So tonight, sir, we will help you finish the hospital if, in fact, it was 80% finished. Stick with us. Watch the space. Let's go back, folks. Remember 80%.
Over $100 million. And it was said that this building would have been completed in 6 months. And after 6 months, the building will be completed. And the completion would be for 1 floor. So we abandoned a hospital and we decided that we would build 1 floor. But the committee found that this was not right and this was not the most prudent way to go.
Construction at a different site.
Okay, so let's forget about the journalist who's just trying to make his voice sound appealing. Let's forget about the journalist who is just flexing his voice, his nice voice, his radio personality voice, with the fake bass in it, because that is of no importance to the people of St. Lucia at this point. That is of no importance to the people of Vieux Fort and the surrounding areas. This is of no support or help to the staff and the people in the stadium at St. Jude Hospital. Absolutely not. It means nothing. Now, tonight, let us flush that voice. Because no matter how deep and heavy the voice is, facts matters. So let's flush him. Now remember, we did not flush Mr. Pierre. Not as yet. We flushed the voice, the deep voice that is trying to convince us, the people, that they are on the right track and that the hospital was 80% finished. And we will try to figure this out. We'll do some investigations tonight to figure out what happened from 80%, how it got to where it is now. It is 90% now, 95% now, or is it that new term that you use, so-called construction, so it is going backwards now? So from 80, it is now 60, it's going to 50 to 40, and maybe when you get to 10%, you're very close to finishing. I don't know, but there might be something new going on here. But let's go back over to the Honorable Prime Minister.
Way to go.
Construction at a different site commenced in 2019. By 2021, less than 2 years later, more than 89 million taxpayer dollars was expended. However, St. Lucia's South was still no closer to having its own hospital. Concerned about the seemingly exorbitant construction expenses, the Pierre administration formed a committee to undertake a review of the decades-delayed St. Jude Hospital reconstruction project. The committee's report has uncovered a maze of questionable transactions, which Prime Minister Pierre assures will be the subject of parliamentary debate in the House of Assembly.
Now, folks, stick with me. Now, we saw the debate in the parliament, and up to now we have not seen any documents with any improper spending, or I have not seen anything that would say to me that something fishy was going on and somebody should be in jail because they found damning information that should be passed on to the public prosecutor or to the attorney general, and people need to go to jail because somebody was building some mansion with the St. Jude money, and so we found the documents. I don't know what all that is all about, because for sure, those of us who viewed the debate, we left with even more questions than answers. Huh? Yes, we did. So let's go back again. Now remember, we already flushed the person who is doing the narrating. We already flushed that person. So just pay attention to the details here. All right? Don't play the person voice mine. We already flushed that.
Of parliamentary debate in the House of Assembly. From the office of the Prime Minister, Rihani Isidore.
Oh, it's Rihani? Brother, I flushed you too soon, man, but it is what it is, because what you're saying there, you're misleading the people of St. Lucia. So, folks, listen to this. So, the hospital in 2017, it was 80% completed. So, let's say you have a building, you're building your home in Dennery, or you're building in Vieux-Fort or Soufrière, and your contractor says to you that your home, now you're in the United States or England, and you're waiting for your house to finish so that you can travel. Yes? So your construction guy is saying to you that, Teresa, your home is 80% finished. Okay, Kota, you'll be happy. So what you start doing, you start making preparation to do what? To move back to your country and into your home. Because if it's 80% finished, it means that all the contractor got to do now is touch up little, finishing work. And even though it's putting in some windows, it is 80% finished. You're very close to finishing at 80%. It means that you're no longer dealing with foundation. You're no longer dealing with tiles on the floor. Well, maybe you deal with tiles on the floor. But 80% finish means that you're very close to finishing up the construction. Huh? But now we are hearing that one, it is going to take the contractors 3 or 4 years to finish a hospital that was 80% finished. Folks, I don't know if I am losing my head, I'm not making sense, but you got to guide me tonight because I feel like something is wrong with my head. Huh? How do you get from being 80% finished? Folks, you understand what I'm saying? How do you get from 80% finish to 4 more years before you can move into the St. Jude Hospital? And we're talking about the old one, not even the new. The old one was 80% finished. What went wrong? Okay, let's say it was 80% finished, and because there was no activity over there, then it will take us a while to clean up and to spray up and to sterilize. So it will take you 4 more years to sterilize, to clean up, and to get this hospital ready to move the people from the stadium. I don't, honestly, I'm confused. Folks, honestly, I tell you the honest truth. I am confused. Are we together? Yeah, I'm confused. I'm confused. Honestly, I'm honestly confused. And I wish somebody can call me and help me with my confusion tonight. I'm going to depend on you. The number is 929-586-1821. I'm very confused. From 80% to now the government is asking the citizens for 4 more years or 3 more years to finish the construction. Which means that somebody misled the people of St. Lucia, saying to them that it was 80% finished. I heard, I think it was Alvina Reynolds at the time. I followed this thing closely. And she said, she was in a white construction hat. And she said, all we need is some chemical, some cleaning agent, and we can move the people in now. I need somebody to help me. Folks, honestly, please, somebody call me who can. Don't be ashamed. Don't be afraid. Call me. I need to talk. We need to talk. 929-586-1821. When I'm confused. Okay. I saw something slow down there. So let's go back to business now. All right. So I am hearing now that the government, they're waiting for approval from the DCA before they can start construction. Now remember the announcement. The announcement by the government of St. Lucia is that we will start full construction in March. The announcement from the government was in September, on the 19th of September, that we will start, and the term that they used was we will re-begin in November the fencing and the exterior of the hospital. Now I think, I'm not sure if I heard right, and again, here you got to help my confusion. Here now we're finding out that there is no DCA approval for the construction project. Now we are finding out Oh, the phone is ringing. Caller, you're on the air. Caribbean American News Network.
Oh, good night, Brother Garfield and all in the forum.
Yes, my
How
friend.
are you?
I am confused, and thank you so much, my friend, for calling, for bailing me out on this one.
You confused. Let me give you some clarity.
Yeah, help me, please.
St. Jude's Hospital has been in uproar. Okay, now as we all know, that's obvious. The old St. Jude's Hospital, as far as I see, has been used as a cash cow. A lot of people walked away with a lot of money for doing very tardy or no work at all on the old St. Jude's Hospital. So I can draw a conclusion that there's been millions of dollars of wastage of monies that were given to, and I'm going to say, the King administration and the Kenny Anthony administration. If no one believes me, please go look at Dale Elliott's program that he did on St. Jude's, and you can get some more clarity on what I'm saying.
Right.
Everything that he did was factual. He did not exaggerate anything, nor did he miss out. He may have missed out certain things, but everything on there was factual. So everybody needs to go and listen to this for themselves. We have now the old buildings that are, I think, over 80 years old or something.
Yeah.
Then we have buildings that were built. Then there were 2 buildings that were demolished because they were more compromised out of the 20-something buildings that they've got there. One apparently had a tree stump growing from through the floor. The other one, I think, you could not fit any equipment or anything in there. There was flooding, etc. going on. Okay, if I'm wrong, somebody correct me, please. We have this mold-infested, compromised building standing there. And you saying to me, we have another choice of a new building, a new construction, that the government can take a few $1 million and at least complete the bottom floor so that the people in the stadium can move in. And that would take minimum time and, trust me guys, a lot less money, because it looks like the old St. Jude's is so compromised that they can't even bring it back up to scratch in a hurry. So with 80% completion, that's a lie. We are wasting money in old buildings, old compromised buildings, to try and put St. Lucian's in there, like we have some Army Field Hospital in St. Lucia, where we can take the same money and put into a new building and complete the bottom floor to move, and I'm repeating myself, to move people from the stadium, which is falling apart, which is tick infested. Yes, I said it. Which is tick infested.
Wow.
From the animals that are grazing outside. The grounds are tick infested. The hospital is tick infested.
That is new to us.
This place has flies. I'm not just talking.
Mm-hmm.
I know what I'm saying. The wards are filled with flies. And if anybody from St. Jude's is listening, like a doctor or a nurse, you know I am not telling a lie. It is because I saw it with these 2 little eyes that God gave me that I can stand here today and speak of this. Now, is Philip J. Pierre really concerned about the health and wellness of the St. Lucian people? Or is Philip J. Pierre playing politics with the lives of people here in St. Lucia?
My God.
My response to that would be that he's playing politics. Because you cannot say to me that you will take how many millions of dollars and go and try to wash out and scrape out mold which grows in the walls. When you have mold infested buildings, you've got to treat them properly. Some of these walls even have to be broken. Mold keeps growing. It just keeps growing. Even if you don't see it on the surface, it is in the walls and will reoccur. You cannot kill it completely. Not if it's already in the walls. And they know that. And mold will compromise. Imagine you're already compromised and you're at a hospital and now your respiratory system is being compromised because you put in a room where there is mold growing in a wall from the walls of that room or ward or whatever you call it. That's playing politics with the lives of the people of St. Lucia. And we must stand up and demand that no more money is put into those old compromised buildings, and that money be put into the new building to at least complete a part of it so that people can move into it. The next thing is that box and glorified car park that they call this building. They will have absolutely no choice, and they are away, but to complete or finish part of that building because they will not be able to use it. In fact, they are not able to use those compromised buildings that they have there.
So in other words, they cannot get DCA approval.
They cannot get approval. Nobody's going to lend them money against that building, those buildings.
Right.
So obviously, where's the money coming from to complete this? No one is going to ensure that as a hospital, knowing that these buildings are already compromised. These buildings are not just compromised with mold. There are all sorts of infestations in these buildings. All sorts, including ticks, the old ones too.
But let me ask, how can we...
Go ahead.
But how can we get the assurance from the professionals? The professionals, those who are being paid taxpayers' monies to clean the building. How do we know that they're just not using water and fabulous or whatever you call it? The nice scented thing that you clean
Fabuloso.
Fabuloso. Well, I just see what I want. How do we know that that's not what they're using? How do we know that we are getting our money's worth? How do we know that they're not just using a hose and washing things, like you said, off the wall? How do we get the assurance? Who is responsible to update us and to give us the information?
The same government.
But how can we believe them?
The government that we're dealing with, that is telling us, feeding us all the lies and the deceit up to this present day. The same government, no one is taking responsibility for what happened with the old St. Jude's. And let me make that clear. The best thing Shatney did was not to touch the old St. Jude's with a 10-foot pole because of the amount of money, and I say that has been siphoned through the old St. Jude's. And you know what's going on? This is more siphoning of taxpayers' money that's going on there. And if Philip J. Pierre wants to do the right thing, Mr. Prime Minister, and I call you Mr. tonight, Mr. Prime Minister, take this money and put it into the new building and complete as much as you can of the new building, and let the people who are in the tick-infested, fly-infested wards at the stadium move into something more comfortable, and that is worth moving into for the health and wellness of the people. Stop playing politics. Nobody is accountable for anything that has happened at St. Jude's. We have to hold these people accountable. St. Lucians, do you know, as we speak in London, the people, over 500,000 people are on the streets. On the streets. marching against the London, the government. And we in St. Lucia are here taking this nonsense, accepting, or it appears that we are accepting it because we're doing absolutely nothing to move on. Haven't we learned that the SLP has fed us enough lies and we do not need any more from them? It is time to get up, wake up, stand up for what you believe in. Like my grandmother would say, if you don't stand up for nothing, for something, you stand for nothing.
Yeah.
Let us stand up for what we believe in. They are wasting money again. And may I ask the question, I wonder who's getting a back pay from that washing of the walls of St. Jude. I wonder who's getting a back pay for the so-called fence. You fencing are you fencing dilapidated buildings?
But it was told to us that there is no fencing going on.
Well, there's no fencing going on, but they claim that they're going to be doing fencing. So we've got to stop that fencing from happening. We cannot put monies into fencing dilapidated buildings when we can take all that money that we washing walls, that we fencing, that we caring for dilapidated buildings. We need to take that money and put it into the new construction. There is a new. It's not like we don't have an option, St. Lucian. We have an option.
Yeah.
And I'm hearing, that part of the new construction will be leased out to outsiders, while St. Lucians are put in the compromised buildings. St. Lucians, let's stand up for what we believe in. Let us stand up for our health. This is crazy. What is going on the ground in St. Lucia is absolute nonsense. And we have to do something about it. Let us stop row, and let us stand up for the things that we believe has to happen for the growth of our country and for the health of this country. Our health of the nation is the wealth of the nation.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
If our nation is not healthy, we are poor.
Yep.
We will become, and Mr. Bermuda, I'm going to mention your name, though I don't know you personally. Mr. Bermuda is right in saying that we're on track. And God forbid that we are going to become like Haiti.
Wow.
God forbid, we are on track.
Mm-hmm.
We were the leading Eastern Caribbean island, St. Lucian.
Yeah.
We were the leaders. People looked at us and they envied St. Lucia.
Not again.
Right now, we are in the background. We're falling 15, 20, 25 years back.
Every time we open our mouth on the international press, people are laughing at us because of the things that we're saying.
$10 million given for housing, and we see 4 huts, St. Lucians, with no toilet facilities. Is that forward thinking? If we have a Category 5 hurricane, and God forbid, we don't need it because we finish if that happens. But if we have a Category 5, we don't even need a Category 5. Those huts that are being built all over the place by a specific minister who terms that these are houses, he would learn, they would see what happens to those huts. They would fall flat.
Yeah.
Would the minister live in one of those huts? These huts were not built for people, and I quote Philip J. Pierre, these huts were not built for people. These huts were not built for people to live in. These huts were built for the poorest of the poor. So instead of bringing the poorest of the poor forward and giving them a decent 2-bedroom house with a kitchen, with a bathroom, toilet facilities, running water, electricity, etc., you telling me that you are saying you're building huts and saying they're for the poorest of the poor. So you're keeping the poorest of the poor very poor, extremely poor. You're keeping them the poorest of the poor instead of making their lives better.
Yeah, that is before you go on, my friend, I'm not going to call your name. I don't want to expose you. But
No, please.
hi, Jimmy Haynes, my brother. My brother is there. But let me just show you a picture next to my home here. My friend, I don't know if you're watching your screen, but I'm going to
I'm not.
Okay,
no,
good.
Because I'm using the phone for.
But until then,
for
I'm going to take 10 minutes. Not 10 minutes, just a few seconds, and I'm going to put a construction, a police headquarters that are being built close to my house here. And I'm not going to tell you where, but I'm just going to put it up. Now, this is what you call cladding. It's built like a car park, steel, and you can see here that there are pieces of concrete slabs. This is a state-of-the-art police headquarters here in Queens that can withstand earthquakes. It can deal with hurricanes. It can deal with snow, sun, rain, anything that comes at it. This building you see there. And this is what I hear was being debated in Parliament, that this is dangerous and this is not the right material. And then you hear the Prime Minister says that so-called construction. That so-called construction, friends, that is what you call state-of-the-art modern technique that are being used to construct. And this is no normal construction, no regular construction. Don't let nobody fool you saying so-called construction. This is not the old St. Jude construction. This is modern techniques that are being used here. And I wanted you to see this building next to my home. A state-of-the-art police headquarters that look exactly like the St. Jude Hospital there in St. Lucia. My friend, you can go forward.
Yes, so I am calling on St. Lucians. I am asking us to take, and I'm saying let us take to the streets and put our boots on and go out there like the British and the French and the Americans and the Africans and the Australians and the Canadians. Let us stand up. Even the Bajans would do it. Even the Vincentians. Vincent is 15 years behind us in development. Even Vincentians would stand up to Ralph. We need to stand. We cannot let our ports be sold, people. We cannot let them push more money, waste more. Millions of dollars have gone into the old St. Jude. We cannot let that happen. We need to stand up. Our roads, we're paying road tax. We're paying road tax. Look at what we have to drive on. Recently, I busted my top pan coming out of the Key Largo gap because there was such a deep hole that when I fell in it, I didn't see it. The bottom of the car touched the road.
So Kenson is not repairing the roads up there?
And I had to repair. I had to be repairing my vehicle.
Wow.
And I'm paying road tax. I don't need to deal with this.
Yeah.
We don't need to deal with this. We need to stand up for what we believe in. We cannot have a Speaker of the House going because of his ego, going into court, knowing fully well, instead of withdrawing that matter, that he will proceed and he will cost St. Lucians over $75,000. That is one payment to one lawyer. What about the payment to his lawyer guys? Is it another $75,000? Why isn't he opening his mouth and saying these things? Why aren't we being told? Why do we sit there and let these people continue to walk all over us? We can't, and we can't be listening to the lies and deceit of these people for much longer. I am begging St. Lucians, I am begging us to show our strength in numbers. I am reaching out to everyone, please. We need to do this. There is a petition that has to be signed. We have to get the numbers to sign this, and I'm saying it publicly tonight. to stop the government from selling our ports and making our children suffer 40 years down the road when we might be very well dead and buried and gone.
Yep.
We do not know what they're doing with the airport. Look at what happened to the airport. The roof caved in, the ceiling caved in, right outside the arrival lounge. Is that what we need? A leaking airport where you're putting buckets and stuff when it's raining heavily and people have to come and check in, etc. And is that the kind we are going into? This country has become chaotic. We need to stop it, and we are the ones who have to stop it. If we don't get up, it's not going to be stopped, because we heard Philip J. Pierre say he has not collected the amount of monies he needs to collect from gas. Yeah. Mr. Pierre, tell us what monies you're collecting from gas, and since when we have to pay more tax apart from our road tax when we pay for fuel. We have never had this happen in St. Lucia before. St. Vincent Grenade at $12 a gallon of gas, and we're paying $17 there. Food is exorbitantly expensive.
Oh, I saw some of the prices. It's ridiculous.
How are we feeding our families?
Yep.
How? There's so many things we need to stand up, because it cannot continue happening in this country. St. Lucians. St. Lucians, if you love your children, we need to do this, or else they're not going to have much of a future. And what is worse is we want to wait for another election to vote them out, and by that time, the amount of chaos that would have happened will be irreparable. We will not be able to repair the damage done to St. Lucia in 5 years. You would expect Shastri to come with a magic wand and do it? He's not a magician. He's a great leader, but he's not a magician. It will take us a good 15, 20 years to get out of the damage that's being done to St. Lucia right now. St. Lucians, pray. Pray. God will give us the strength. Let us pray about what's going on in our country so we can get the strength to stand up against this government. We cannot have this continue. We can't. There's too much. If I have to go through stuff, I will be here for the next week. Going through the number of things that are going wrong in this country. Passports, airports, seaports, 2 seaports, no development, not an ounce of development. Up to now, the housing developments have not restarted. Where were we?
I heard there's a building that was bought by the government, by Mr. Frederick.
Yeah, so I heard, but I do not have the details on it, so I'm not going to speak on it.
Yeah.
Because I do not have the details. When I have the details, I will gladly open out and speak on it. Our roads are a mess. Our main roads that we drive on daily are a mess.
Yeah.
Food, our health care, our passports, our CIP. Do you know that Iranians are now buying our passports? That is not supposed to happen.
Yeah, I heard some of the major world governments are concerned about that.
That's right. And who are they selling our passports to, and for how much? And how much money have they collected? And what are they doing with that money? There is no accountability and no transparency under the Philip J. Pierre government. When Shastri was building roads, he came out and said he's doing road rehabilitation. When he was doing the airport project, he came out and spoke of it. When he was doing the call centers in Viewfort, he came and told us about it. Almost everything that this leader of ours in the past did, he came out and he told St. Lucians to go. But we were not paying attention to him, No. We were listening to Frederick on NBC, feeding us lies and deceit. We were listening to Trisha Lionel.
Oh, yeah.
We were listening to Christopher Hunt.
Mm-hmm.
We were listening to Yardi and whatever his name is. We were busy listening to Miguel. Where's Miguel today? The same Miguel. Where is he today? We were busy listening to the operatives talk, feed us all the lies and deceit which we could have fact-checked, and we did not do it. We just drank it like Kool-Aid, red Kool-Aid.
And now many of them, they're retrieving, they're saying, look, it is not what it is. You know, I mean, now they're saying Mr. Shastny and Guy would have done a better job.
14. I heard KKRR. I heard him. And in hearing KKRR, all I thought is, this man cannot be trusted. And now let me tell you why. You wanted money for Shastny for talking on behalf of UWP a few years ago. When you did not get that money, you were not contracted by anybody to speak on their behalf. If I speak whatever I speak tonight, what am I supposed to write an invoice and send it to Shastny tomorrow and tell him you need to pay me?
I think he was promised. I think he was promised by somebody outside of Shastny that he would have gotten monies if he had boosted his post. I think that is what happened.
But Brother Garfield, if Guy Joseph tells me, "Oh, don't worry, do it," and Guy Joseph wouldn't do that. I'm just using him as an example.
Yeah, he wouldn't.
Go ahead and speak. Don't worry, Shastny will fix you up. So I'm speaking, right? And I just go and tell Shastny he owes me money. I have not sat with Mr. Shastny and said I'm speaking on behalf of your party. So I would like for you all to compensate the speaking that I do. You see, some of us are for country and some of us are for pocket.
Yep.
Right? Some of us will stand up and speak for our country because what we need is an environment created for everyone to live and live happily, and they can eat and they can have a roof over their heads, etc.
But you know what I support him? What I support him
for our pocket.
You know what I support him on? He said something, and I believe him. He said that politicians don't care about us. We can keep a lot of noise for them. We can get mad with each other for them. They don't care. They don't really care about us. And there is truth there, and that's why we got to do this for country. We got to do this for the generation.
No, I believe him, but we can differentiate the politicians who care about us and those who don't care about us. When we had Guy Joseph, everybody had a job. Persons were employed doing work on the roads, etc.
Those boys were happiness in his community. Those boys were getting.
We didn't have flooding. Our flooding was mitigated, even in Bexon, which always floods, and cul-de-sac. It was mitigated under Guy Joseph. You're telling me that Guy Joseph did nothing? Guy Joseph was a hard worker. Can't we see the politicians? Can we differentiate the politicians who have our best interests at heart?
But let's talk about Guy for a minute. Blinded? Let's talk about Guy for a minute. There was a deliberate campaign to paint this guy as a thief, as one who should not be trusted, and I know the regular methods that are being used by these guys, but when you look at Guy Joseph, you can't compare him really to, and the guy is a worker. He's not lazy. The guy is a hands-on worker. If there's a hurricane and there's a land slippage, this guy will be in the rain out there. He will be there first on the scene.
With a shovel. He will have a shovel in his hand, shoveling dirt.
And he will have a backhoe from a neighbor or somebody there on the spot.
It's nothing we haven't seen.
Yes.
We saw it.
The guy's a worker.
But what did we do? We let $1,500 fool us. We let 1 side fool us. $1,500, guys? How far does $1,500 go?
No, you see, I have to do a program to look at most of these politicians, because honestly, Guy, I would say it again, Guy is a worker. Guy is a worker. He is a worker. He's one that we have not dealt with him fairly, and that's the truth. Even his supporters who voted against him.
If Guy Joseph had stolen money, St. Lucia, You think Guy Joseph would be walking the streets of St. Lucia? All the proof that they had, everything they said in opposition when they were on the campaign trail. If Guy Joseph had committed a crime,
they would have gotten him long time.
Would Guy Joseph be out?
Listen to me. They would have leaked. You see, his enemy, what's his name, R? That guy would have gotten his hands on those documents and leaked them. That guy would have used those documents to embarrass him.
And not just embarrass him, he would have used those documents to get Guy arrested.
Yep.
Shasney put in a law when he first got into governance. He said, and I don't like using the word power because we're not giving people power, we're letting people govern our country.
Yes.
The power is in our hands.
That's
the power is in the hands of the people, not the politicians.
Yeah.
If they had any dirt on Guy would be locked up right now.
Yeah.
If they had any dirt on Shasney, look at all the Jimmy flicks and everything they're trying to take Shasney down, and it's not working.
Yep.
Look at everything they are doing. Solutions, open your eyes. We had Herod Stanislas who transformed Soufre. Yep. I was in shock.
Another one. Yes. Even Esther.
Even Esther.
Yep.
Esther.
Yep.
Esther. We have Spider Montoot. They can say what they want about Spider Montoot. Casabar Road was like a dried up riverbed. For the people from Casabar, I hope you all are hearing me. The people from Grosville.
Can I play something for
wasn't that?
Could you give me a minute to play something for Guy? I think he deserves this music.
No problem.
1 second.
What do you mean, what's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? Mr. Speaker, I realize for a long time you want to be part of that. Since when that's your role? Since when that's your role?
Yes, my friend, you can go ahead.
He's right. Since when that's your role? I wish he was in the house today and yesterday and the day before.
Yes.
I wish he was there because he would have told Mr. Speaker a few things.
Oh yeah, he would have clashed with him. Yes. Yeah.
Oh yes, he would have dealt with Mr. Speaker properly.
Yes.
I'm just saying to St. Lucians, look around you, look at what was happening, and ask yourself, am I better off today than I was? And I go back to 2019, and I know why. Because 2020, we got hit by a virus.
Yep.
The world shut down.
It was 2019, right?
So this affected every country, yes. So I'm going back to 2020. And I'm going back to up to February of 2020. That's how far back I'm going.
Yeah.
Okay? St. Lucians, tell me what your life was at in 2019, 2020, where you were at, how you felt, how relieved you were, with 25% less VAT, with a cut in a 50% of the increase that Kenny had put on our driver's license, etc.
Driver's license was reduced?
Property taxes, it was reduced in the Shasney. Kenny had increased it. I'm asking Solutions the question.
Wow.
Tell me how you felt with paying no property taxes for all the homeowners. 5 years of no property taxes.
Wow.
Tell me how you felt being able to go to the petrol station and pay $13. Gas was capped at $13 when it was over $150 to $200 per barrel on the world market. Tell me how you felt paying $13 and compare all of this to now. Tell me how you felt with the way COVID was handled, and at least there was some sort of treatment and people were looked after and sent to places to be sure that they could quarantine, etc. When they traveled to St. Lucia. Tell me how you felt when you saw Shasney building a new Uranora airport that would enable us to have more flights. Tell me how you felt when Shasney opened the call centers in Viewfort that employed about 2,000 young people who are not working and making salaries of 2.5 to 4.5 a month. Tell me how you felt. Tell me what the difference is with your life now under Philip J. Pierre when he got an economy that grew by 12.4%. 12.4% of economic growth after COVID, when we were getting out of COVID, was handed to Philip J. Pierre. When Shasney came in, we had no economic growth.
Nothing, yes.
Kenny had put us under so much pressure that we went out to the polls and we got rid of him for all the taxes that he had increased on us and the way we were living in St. Lucia. We were fed up with SLP. We got rid of SLP. And you telling me that same party, we went back and we voted them back. Look at Marshall. Look at Marshall and tell me if a man that cannot fix his own constituency would be able to fix one constituency after being there for 25 years, will be able to fix 17 constituencies. Were you crazy? Did solutions go mad? It is time. It is time. We cannot leave Philip J. Pierre and the Red Devils and company out there to take advantage of us for the next 3 years. We cannot do it. We are actually destroying, allowing them to destroy our St. Lucia.
Yeah, it's going to be a hell of a task. It's going to be a hell of a task for whatever government comes in after to get this country back on track. You know, it's going to be a hell of a thing, and that's the truth.
It will be a killer to fix it. It took Shasney 3 years, and Solutions didn't understand this. After Kenny Anthony said, I don't know what happened. Something happened in St. Lucia. Yes. We can't borrow any money. We can't. Remember that interview with JDR? Jean-Pierre, you guys?
Yes, I followed that.
Remember, go back to that interview. Something happened. The same man who promised to inject $100 million immediately upon getting into government, the same Kenny Anthony, did we see that $100 million? At the end of his term said something happened in St. Lucia.
So his excuse was something happened.
But he did not know what happened. Something happened in St. Lucia. We can't borrow any money. We can't do this. And he taxed us almost half to death when he was there, the same SLP government.
But based on what you said, it seems that the people always progress under the United Workers' Party. It seems like the United Workers' Party, based on the trend of voting in St. Lucia, that the United Workers' Party always have to come into power, into office at a very crucial point in St. Lucia's history.
That's right. And then people expect for when UWP comes in to govern this country after it has been destroyed under SLP, that they can just wave a magic wand and everything just happens. People, do you know how much negotiating Shasney had to do? He did not cry and say Kenny left the coffers empty. The lockbox didn't have money in it. The treasury was empty. Was Shasney crying?
But I heard at one point his father.
SLP is doing?
I'm not sure if this is true. It's rumored that his father years ago used to help the government pay civil servants or something like that.
Yeah, it is true.
It is true?
It is true.
Well, if that is true, I believe that we are an ungrateful nation.
Kenny and Michael Shasney were quite close. And that's the same Kenny Anthony who came out and said, this election is not SLP against UWP. It is SLP against the Shasney family.
And
politics is dirty.
And why?
Politics is dirty.
Why is it personal? Why is it personal, you know?
Because you need to create the impression for your base.
Yeah.
Your base has to be fired up that way. But the base being fired up that way does not make what these people are saying true. Let's look at the truth.
The truth, yeah.
Let us look at the unemployment that was caused under Philip J. Pierre when he came in, when Richard said that the housing developments didn't have DC approval, which was a lie.
No, I heard
the housing developments had DC approval.
He said there was no approval.
There was then the roads were this and the roads were that. There was corruption going on with Fresh Start and whatever with the roads, and stopped all the road work. Over 2,000 stopped the airport redevelopment project. Over 2,000 St. Lucians went home without a job. Without a job. These were people that were getting paid and were moving our economy by spending money, paying their bills, paying taxes, etc. They were the ones who caused the highest unemployment. Have we been given unemployment figures right now in St. Lucia? It is so high that they are afraid to say what it is.
I was about to ask you about the unemployment. We have not heard about that in 2 years. I'm not sure why.
We're calling to them to give us unemployment figures. Give it to us, because they're too ashamed and afraid to tell us what is going on. Philip J. Pierre's nephew, and I'm saying it, nephew, friend, something, friends, family, and foe. What has he been hired to do? Head the department that is supposed to be taking care of the youth. YOUFF economy, the youth economy. Yes. There's nobody else that can do that job. Isn't there anybody else who can do these jobs? Why is everything... The same people who pointed a finger at Chasney and said, oh, it was about friends and family and this and foreigners. The same cupboard that was so bad that these people were marching on that beach, keeping noise, police going in policemen's faces and everything. Cabot was such a bad project. Today, Cabot is the best thing. They washed it in the red blood.
I was going to ask you, Cabot is still in St. Lucia and that project is still going on.
Yes. And it's the best project ever. You're not hearing a word about Cabot, and nothing about the Cabot project has changed.
Was there a problem in Soufrière also with a development there? Was there a problem with some development in Soufrière?
There was a development in Choiseul.
Oh, Choiseul?
Yes. But now that development is the best development. It's the best.
So everything that was bad, it's now good.
It's now good. And I have to ask St. Lucians, have you seen one new investment? One new investment under SLP government after they've been here for almost 2 years? Chasney got an economy that was failing under Kenny Anthony. Kenny admitted it. It took him 3 years, or almost 3 years, to get the economy jump-start. When he did finally get everything going for St. Lucia, COVID hit us. Pierre got 10.4% growth. 10.4% growth. That's what he was left with. And what has he done? Instead of making it more, he's making it dwindle, and it's contracting to smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. Do these people know how to govern? Do these people have the best interests of St. Lucians at heart?
I think they're just distracted with wanting to get at one man. If they would remove that distraction, I'm sure that they can do something for the people, especially the roads.
As a matter of fact, you know what? I don't think so.
No?
I don't think so. No. Because even when they were in the best times under Kenny, after he said he was going to invest $100 million into immediately after getting into office, which never happened. At the end of his tenure, when St. Lucia was at its best, Kenny Anthony said, I don't know, something happened in St. Lucia. We can't borrow any money, we can't do anything. And you know what was happening in St. Lucia? People were being squeezed through taxes. This SLP is a lazy government. Lazy, and I tell you, they're not innovative, and they do not want to get up and work. They want to enjoy the perks that they have flying all over the place. And yes, guys, enjoy your perks because it's yours. But bring home something when you're coming back, something substantial and something concrete.
You know who I'm not
hearing? Have we seen any of that?
You know who I'm not hearing anything about? Poyot. Is she still in government?
Virginia?
Virginia, yes.
Yes, she's still there. Our crime rate is still escalating.
I have not heard anything in the news about this woman in a long time.
We in January, our crime rate is high for January. I mean, I know 5 deaths or something so far.
Yeah.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
I know 5 murders so far.
Yeah.
Nothing has changed. Nothing is happening. She's not speaking. She's not doing anything.
She's not saying anything.
No, she can't speak. How many of them do we hear right now? How many of the same politicians under the SLP government that we were hearing every day with all the answers when they were in opposition?
Yeah.
How many of their voices are we hearing now? Whilst King is finishing his mansion in Sunny Acres, we have to drive on roads with potholes larger than Lake Ontario and deeper than Lake Ontario.
I saw some potholes, man. I could not believe. I mean, my God, these things are deep.
Let me tell you, I've had my fair share of the potholes, and I'm telling the government, they don't know who's speaking. I am one of the people who pay the most taxes in this country. All right? Who ensure that the government gets thousands of dollars in taxes.
I'm glad you're my friend. You're paying a lot of taxes.
Through one transaction only. At the end of the day, get up and do what needs to be done for St. Lucia. We know you have no vision. We know you have no plan. We know that you are just full of talk and no action. We know that you are taxing government. Well, I know. St. Lucians don't know. I know. But I am telling you, Mr. Pierre, get off your lazy butt. I'll be nice. Get off your lazy butt and start working because we will flush you. We will flush you and we'll flush you hard. You and all your 40.
Sorry, it was by accident. You see, flush that bad, Buta.
So I just flushed him.
Oh, you did.
I'll take the blame.
You take the blame.
Yeah, him and his 14 henchmen or henchmen. Him and his 14 henchmen. I say 15 because Mr. Speaker is as much a henchman as the rest are. Leave St. Lucia alone. Leave us. Let us be. Take off, according to what's her name, take your knee off from our neck.
Sure.
We cannot eat. We cannot sleep. We cannot pay our bills. We can't do nothing. Mr. Pierre, nothing.
I have a friend who just got back from St. Lucia, and the friend was telling me, man, it's really bad. Yeah, she told me that it is so bad that she do not understand how the poor families survive in that country.
It is terrible.
Yeah.
It is terrible.
Yeah.
I am going to leave the line in case anyone else needs to call. However, St. Lucians, I am asking you, I am begging St. Lucians, for the sake of our children, we need to stand up. We need to march against that is the only language that SLP understands. They do not understand the talking language, the complaining language. Everything SLP did was march. That is the language they understand. We have to do it as well because it's the only thing that they understand. If we don't do it, we are we are already in serious trouble.
Yeah.
They've already thrown St. Lucia in a pit. They're going to start putting the soil. They're going to start shoveling soil over St. Lucia.
Jesus.
And will be completely buried and dead.
My God.
On that note, good night, St. Lucia. Brother Garfield, let me go back to the program.
Thank you, my friend. Thank you so much for calling.
Not a problem.
Yes. Thank you for keeping my company tonight. Wow. Folks, there you have it. That's my regular caller, my friend. Very smart and, smart person. Just give me a minute, folks. Very smart caller and fun to talk to. A lot of information, and I really appreciate the caller. Folks, listen to me. Let's just do one thing and then we will go, because I believe I didn't realize tonight is the State of the Union address. Somebody told me to tag my friend Anson. I'm not at war with him. I'm at war with what he said. So I'm not personally going at him. Once he says something again that does not represent the truth, then he's going to hear that button. Boy, our YouTube channel, people over there, man, in large numbers, in big numbers over there tonight. Let's go over to the Prime Minister. He made a statement concerning Mr. Speaker of the House, Claudius Francis, and then we will leave the platform tonight so that you can get your early rest. And for those of you who would want to have a look at the State of the Union here in the United States. Bear with me, I'm always making that error in not unmuting the system.
The privileges matter between Francis and Micoud South MP Alan Chasney. The highly controversial matter came to a close on January 26 when the High Court opined that Speaker Francis was outside his depth to refer to the Committee of Privileges any complaint made by a member of the House of Assembly against another member in respect of privilege or contempt. The Supreme Court decision ruled that Francis's actions are null and void and of no effect. The judgment comes at a cost of $75,000 in costs or legal fees and an undisclosed amount in damages to be paid out to Alan Chasney from state funds. Providing a particularly off-script perspective on the matter, Prime Minister Philip J. Pierre opined that the verdict is an indication that the doctrine of separation of powers is respected at the judicial level. He hopes that through this court decision, the leader of the opposition realizes that the Caribbean courts can be trusted.
I think that is really success of our separation of powers. I mean, I'm sure the leader of the opposition...
Wait. Folks, before I go, I just want to laugh. I want to have a little kickle. Y'all realize that the Prime Minister is laughing at the Speaker of the House? Folks, y'all got to see what I am seeing from my end, you know. Listen to me. If you guys stick with me, you'll live very long because you gotta laugh. You can't be all uptight cussing people off and shouting and screaming. You gotta be calm, you know. But listen, to me, I'm gonna replay that. It sounds like the Prime Minister is having a little giggle on the Speaker of the House, and he said, well, you see, the system works. The system... Let's go back. Hey, I don't cause it. I want to play this back again. I want to play it back.
Success of our separation of powers. I mean, I'm sure the leader of the opposition may want to to come back on some of the disparaging remarks he said about our system. It shows that the system is working. And I'm very proud that the separation of powers is working. We do not get involved in that. I've never got involved in that. The courts do what they have to do. Separation of powers.
Using the verdict as an example, Prime Minister Pierre further emphasized that Caribbean courts act impartially and are not swayed by political influence. For his part, Chasney has openly criticized the government's unilateral move to the Caribbean Court of Justice as its final appellate court.
When people speak about the Caribbean Court of Justice and political interference, it shows you that these are just myths. We have no confidence in ourselves as a people. We have no confidence in ourselves. What we must do, must understand, is there's a separation of powers that has worked. Well, how can we accept in the United States judges are chosen by politicians, strict politicians, and they actually tell you Republican judges and Democratic judges. But in our system, we lack so much confidence in ourselves as a people that we can't accept the fact that our system has worked, it is working, and I'm very happy that the leader of the opposition saw it work. So I hope he can come back on these backward remarks that he made about the Caribbean Court of Justice.
Reporting for the Hot 7 TV News, I am Kareem Nelson.
So, folks, there you have it. You know, Mr. Pear is saying, look, the system worked. You know, the speaker got thrown under the bus. It proves. And sadly, that the speaker had to be placed under the bus in order for us to see that the system is working. Huh? Yeah. It's so sad that the guy had to be thrown under the bus in order for us to say that the legal system works, when the guy should have just followed the law at the beginning. Just follow the law, and you would not have to test our legal system. Don't put it to the test, because to put it to the test, you are causing the country thousands of dollars when you test that system. All right? So, folks, Marfinich, have a beautiful night, and see you, God's willing, on Monday. If anything happens, I'll be back here on the set Thursday or on Sunday. If there's anything breaking development, I will come on. Please keep your, please follow and like our new page, our media page that you're viewing us from. Those of you who have subscribed to YouTube, please keep that notification button on so that you can get notification when we get back on set. Now, we have not blocked anyone, so if you are not getting access, please let us know. Reach out to us so that we can make the necessary adjustments. So, folks, have a beautiful night, and may God continue to bless you and your family as you sleep in Christ. All right? Sleep well, my friends. So, bonsoir, good night, everybody. Good night, good night, good night.